Yeah, thank you, everybody. Acknowledging we're in here with COVID and what have you, so let's make the most of it. As we speak, I've got a neighbour who is deciding to cut a tree down next door. I see he's hopefully it sounds like his chain got stuck in the trunk. It's just stopped. But if it does come in, you'll know why, what that extra noise is. So just having a few connectivity things. My screen is freezing, but I'm not sure if you're seeing me or hearing me correctly, but that's all fine. Nigel, if you could help me out when I jump back and forwards between documentation, just in terms of who's is moving and seconding things. So with that in mind, this morning, going to the agenda, and in terms of apologies, I also have Wayne O'Donnell. I'll move that. Someone like to second that, please.
Yeah, that's Barbara.
Awesome, thank you. All those in favour?
Aye.
Aye.
Again, so carried. I have, where are we? Going into it. I've just lost my document, sorry.
You did.
I've got documents.
Yeah, everyone? Oh my God. Okay, so I have had no information around the urgent business and of a minor nature, so I'll take that as read. Do I have any conflicts of interest in relation to this paper?
No.
No, we'll take that as thank you. Chairman's report, effectively various council meetings, citizenship ceremony, district licensing meetings, tenders and procurement, and people and performance. I'll move that. Can we have a seconder for that, please?
Yeah, Councillor Parker there.
Thank you. All those in favour?
Aye.
Against, so carried. Confirmation of the minutes for commercial and strategy meeting 20th of July. Could I have a mover, please?
Yeah, got Councillor Wills and a seconder. Councillor Gilchrist.
Thank you very much. And all those in favour?
Aye.
Against, so carried. So we're moving to reports. Report 7.1 on page 11, and that's investment and borrowings treasury report quarterly ending the 30th of June 2021. And we have, I presume, Eric, you are going to land that for us.
Thank you for that. I'll take the report as read, and I've got Jason here who will lead us through a discussion about some of the key summary points. So I'll hand over to Jason.
Okay, thanks, Eric, and thank you, Chair and councillors. This report's a standard report that we do every quarter, but it is in a new format this particular period. So it has a lot more information in it. So really, the purpose of this report is to update the committee on the status of council's treasury activities as at 30 June. So this is as at the end of the financial year. Obviously, the treasury function, council holds a range of investments and borrowings really to make sure that we can deliver our long-term plan so that we have the right funding that comes due at the right time. And we also have a number of investment activities, and we need to ensure that they are invested in line with, I guess, council's treasury management policy. So the report covers a lot of information around liquidity and funding. This is the source of our debt and how it's funded. So you can see that we have $99.5 million of debt on the books, and we have another $5 million of undrawn bank facilities that we have. All of our borrowings are within our set parameters in terms of our compliance with our policies. So I think that's good news. In terms of risk, interest rate risk, this is around ensuring that the hedging that council holds is also in compliance with council policies. And there's a chart in there that shows on page page 18 of the report shows the interest rate risk, and this shows the debt and the cover that council currently holds The red line is council's interest rate policy. So you can see that all our fixed interest rates and our swaps are all within current policies. We also hold a number of investments as well on pages 22, and our investments at the moment are performing well. What we do is we have a benchmark, and by benchmark, this is a set of investments, and the benchmark has decreased 0.13%, whereas the investments that the council holds have gone up by 0.02%. So very minor increase, but compared to the benchmarking, it shows that our investments have been well managed and are looking okay. So in summary, our debt, our investments, our strategies, our interest rates are all within policy, but happy to take any specific questions on anything in the report.
Thank you, Jason. I'll open it up to comments, questions from anyone.
Looks like Alan's got one when he gets in. He's just struggling with.
You're still muted.
Yeah.
Semaphore or sounds like? Lip read, okay.
We should all learn sign language. It would be so handy.
That's right. Exactly. You're still on mute.
Mute. Okay, here we go.
Perfect. Here we go. Go for it.
Just the headroom in there, $5 million. Is that obviously, do we just keep adjusting that as we require more money?
No, sorry. We have a floating facility with Westpac for $5 million. This is, I guess, if there's an emergency that happens and we don't have the funding, we can tap into that. Council has never had to. It's just there if it's required.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Oops, thank you, Alan. Any other questions? I'm mindful that I don't see all the screens here. So just put your hand up and mention. Doesn't sound like there is any more. Thank you, Jason. Very comprehensive, and especially in conjunction with that Treasury reporting dashboard that gives a lot of information. And sorry, Kai Whakahari wants to talk to us. Thank you, B.
Yeah, thank you, Councillor Burt. Just to elaborate slightly on Jason's response and to Councillor Booth's question, it doesn't mean that we've reached we've only got $5 million left. Council has plenty of headroom in terms of its ongoing borrowing capacity. I think it's not that we've only got that left. That's an undrawn facility we hold and have held against any contingency in the event, as Jason said. We might need funds on a very urgent basis after a major event. We do keep a reasonably good cash flow, and I think, Jason, it's about 21 million at present, isn't it? As at 30 June as well. So in actual fact, there is really strong liquidity and plenty of headroom left, and I don't want any sort of lingering thought that we've only just got that 5 million left. That's not correct. That's an undrawn facility for us in the event.
Is there a number in here that shows our net position?
Our net debt position, or our
well, our net, we've got 99.5 million debt. We've got investments. What's our net debt position?
Well, I guess our net debt is the 99.5. So we manage it against our capital program. So at the moment, we assume we're going to deliver about 75% of our capital program in terms of how we do our debt and our funding. So we take out more debt as and when required. This financial year so far, we've taken out another 20 million, and there's another 20 million coming out on the 11th of October. And so we manage our projected spend and the debt levels to, I guess, make sure that we have the right amount at the right time.
So what's our net position then? So we've got 21, we've got investments, we've got debt. What's our net position?
I'll have to come back to you about that. I know what our net debt is. Are you asking how much do you think we're going to spend, or how much?
We've got investments. I guess, I mean, you know what your liabilities are. We know what what you've got liquidity in the form of bonds and investments, and money on demand, basically. You've got cash investments, so and also you got money in the depreciation fund. What's our net position after you add that back in? You've got 99 million debt. You've got 20 million in cash, or bonds or investments, meaning our net position would be 70 odd.
Yeah, our net position is 75 when you take off, as you just went through, the 99.5 debt, the 21 million of liquid assets, the 3 million of investments. So based on this treasury paper, the net position is $75 million.
Right, thank you.
Thanks, Alan. Any other discussion?
Happy to move, Peter.
Yeah. Thank you, Your Worship, and a seconder for that. Councillor Parker. All those in favour? Against? So carried. Just go back to my document. So with that, we now have the Venture Timaru quarterly report to June 2021. I see Eric there as your authored this paper, but I'd like to welcome Nigel Davenport to speak to that. Welcome, Nigel.
Thanks, Chair. Good morning, councillors and staff. Yeah, look, I've texted our chair to come on, but he's not. I'm just looking at the list. He's not on there yet, so I'll head into it. So yeah, this is our quarterly report for the period through to 30th of June 21. I'll take it as read, and a couple of the main highlights, just to talk to our refreshed economic development strategy and the new destination management plan. Is both of those two documents being finalised as we speak. We have a final staff session around the operational part of that this week, and the final draft for adoption for the destination management plan, that is, will go to our board at the next board meeting, and that'll be followed by the economic development strategy as well. So those two documents have been informed by quite wide, extensive stakeholder engagement throughout the district, our near neighbours, and a bit further afield as well. So including some staff and Mayor and CE as well. And the only other thing, I'm happy to take questions, but you will have seen in the report, success breeds success. So we've launched a Celebrating Success in the District, as well as a Did You Know around a number of our local successes, not just business, but wider success, but also the Did You Know around some of the fast facts around a number of our local businesses. The other interesting thing to note is that whilst the quarter-on-quarter increase in visitor spend was not achieved, the total visitor spend for the, so that's a quarter-on-quarter increase, so a trend like that. It's fair to say it went up and down a bit post-COVID, but actually the total visitor spend for the year sat at about 132 mil compared to 129 mil the year before. So that's even after allowing for international spend in the prior year of about 12 mil, dropped to about 4 for some pretty obvious reasons, but that was negated by a nearly 12 million increase across the rest of New Zealand and our Canterbury visitor spend into the district as well. So, which was great news. So, so yeah, happy to field any questions. Yeah.
Thank you, Nigel. Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? It's probably some of those trends go completely against where central government thought we would be. That's good for the district. I'll open it up to questions. Councillor Oliver.
Yeah, hi Nigel, how you doing? Thanks for presenting your report today.
Yes,
It's
Kevin.
pretty detailed. Just, Nigel, just around the events funding, the 230,000 the TDC gave over. I just see in your latest stuff write up that there was $20,000 come from the REF that's been added to that $230,000 pool of events money. How much REF money did you get in the end?
Sorry.
How much REF money did you get in the end?
The total RF money was about 77,000, I think it was. And the allocation of that has been across SCOF for its second year, and also a new event which we will be announcing very shortly. So a new event to Timaru, which hopes to take place in February, March next year.
Okay, just another 230,000 we gave over. Block the money from the stat funding.
Sorry.
You're cutting up.
Can you not hear me?
Sorry, again.
No, try again.
Yeah, oh, you're right now?
Yep.
Yeah, sorry, Nigel. Just a quick, the 230,000 that council handed over was to unlock some. I take it that it was for the that money came from STAC, did it? The 300,000 that we were told it was going to unlock ended up being 700,000, was it?
Yep, definitely. So that additional, that took that up to the 230K in total. So that $700,000 of the second round of tourism support funding from the government has been confirmed, and I think we have actually received it as of yesterday. So so that 700,000 is across 3 key areas, and including there's some funding available for each of the to fund promotional or event activities into our 3 community boards. So we've requested to meet with the community boards in your October meeting. So we'll discuss those details with each of you then.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks, Nigel.
Brilliant. Any further questions, discussion?
Yeah, I've got one, Pete, if no one else.
Go, Stu.
A couple of questions. With the 230K that we've given you, Nigel, is there any agreement on how that's being spent, being ratepayers' money? Have we sent any instructions to you around that, or is it just a free-for-all?
It's definitely not a free-for-all, Councillor Piddington. When we requested the event support grant funding, we also included a quite comprehensive policy which detailed the criteria, which would have been part of all of your papers, and we got approval to distribute the 230,000 as per those policies and criteria, which were all part of the original application. So no, there's very strict criteria around it in terms of both the approval process. The applications are open twice annually. They're currently open. They closed today, actually, for the first round, and the second round will be February and March. So no, very strict criteria, and all that documentation should be there somewhere in council.
Okay, thanks, Nigel. Just on that, can we get quite regular updates? Because again, the community is quite interested in events and what's happening, you know, and perhaps if more than quarterly. It's just an interest because it's ratepayers' money being handed over.
Yeah, happy to report on that as often as, well, not weekly, obviously, but I'm happy to report on that as often as you'd like outside the quarterly report. So I'm happy to work with the CE to establish what sort of reporting mechanism that might be, or through the chair of this committee to whom we report.
Cool. Next question is just around your KPIs, Nigel.
Yep.
Are they still relevant? I mean, you haven't met 3 of them, but I mean, can VT really reduce number of job seekers? I'm just concerned that the actual objectives we've given you aren't as robust as they need to be.
Yeah, no, look, I think this last year highlighted that there's a couple in there that whilst they are important for us to monitor our ability to actually directly influence them, like job seeker reductions and, you know, quarter on quarter increase in visitor spend, we can do our bit. But our SOI for this current year, the 2021-22 year, has a change in KPIs, which have all been signed off by council around. There's ones that we need to measure, there's ones that we need to monitor, and there's success ones in there as well. So the KPIs are quite different for this current year.
Okay, yeah, because I mean,
basically reflective of what you've just said.
Cool. My final question is around the KPIs. You can claim a maximum of 3 new businesses. It's an interesting terminology. I thought you would have had 3 or you wouldn't.
Yeah.
Can you tell us what they are? Because that's interesting as well.
Yeah, there's a Māori culture training company. There was a new roading health and safety company that's come into the district, and a smallish retailer, clothing retailer.
Okay. And did they come from outside the district, or have you just helped create them from within?
The roading health and safety one coming outside the district. The retail guy shifted to the district about a year ago, and the training one was an internal one.
Okay, thanks.
So a new business. Yep.
Can we have that detail in those notes?
Yeah, sure. Sure.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jerry. Good stuff. Thanks. Any other comment by Councillor Booth?
Yeah, probably a question, Nige. I've mentioned this in our just prior around our vaccination levels, particularly in our essential workforce. Obviously, it's going to be quite important moving forward. I know that we are an essential service here, and now our customers are actually getting onto us about what level your level of vaccination is, etc., and what systems you've got in place should you have an infection, and therefore that's going to affect, especially in the food industry, the supply of packaging and ingredients, etc., for food. Have we got any idea? We've got quite a high proportion of essential workers in South Canterbury. Have we got? Is there any sort of activity? Is anyone active in pursuing and ensuring that actually there's a program for us to get our essential workers actually jabbed? And I know that obviously the port, they were obviously first off the mark, and they people like that, and even obviously the police, perhaps, I mean, they should have been done obviously, but actually it's almost as important to have our workforce who are essential, and some program going forward or encouragement for that to be happening. What are your comments around that?
Yeah, look, it's really important, Alan. As you rightly point out, I think last time we were just short of 70, somewhere around 70% of our workforce was essential versus a national average of about 40. Now they talk about essential and those still working. Nationally, that's closer to 60%, which if you extrapolate that out, probably puts us up around 80 to 85% of our workforce either essential or still working. Look, we've had a couple of conversations with some of our larger food processors and manufacturers. And at the end of the day, they're very much, as we all are, at the behest of the government directive, but also our local DHB's ability to roll out. I am pleased to see that our DHB, as it continues to do anyway, outperforms probably the rest of the country. I think the national vaccination rates here in Timaru are well up, you know, a number of percentage points above what the national average is as well. But look, it's a really good point. It's discussions we continue to have with especially some of those larger food processors, because as you've, a couple of their workers got COVID recently, which forced the closure of that factory as well. So it's hugely important for us to obviously keep our economy going as much as anything. So they're discussions that are ongoing, but as I say, we're very much at the behest of the government's directive, and local DHB's ability to get out there and vaccinate.
Yeah, thanks, Nigel.
Thanks, Councillor Booth. Right. Any other discussion, questions? Someone like to move that that paper be received and noted? Councillor Worship is moving, and Councillor Lyons to second. All those in favour? Against? Carried. That takes us through to the end. No matters of urgent business or a minor nature. So I declare our meeting closed at 10:13 a.m. Thank you, everyone.